Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as Deepbluerenegade, and I would like to welcome you guys to episode 55. Today is Saturday, September 6th, 2014, and we are hanging out on the porch. I don't have to apologize if there ends up being a decent amount of noise. One of my neighbors is moving out, so we'll see how it ends up coming up on the podcast, but I figured that now is as good a time as any to record, and we'll see how this episode goes. Nice fresh coffee. So, what I've been primarily working on in the past 2 weeks has been the dragon. And I've actually finished the knitting at this point. So, this is Doris. A pattern, oh, I totally forgot. I'm looking up who the pattern writer was and stuff like that. And so at this point, what was it? So last night I finished the knitting. Before I stuff Doris, I'm going to have to go through on some of the joints and end up weaving, like, what is it? So there are some spots like here, for example, where the end sort of popped out while I was knitting it and didn't really deal with it at the time, so I'm going to have to stuff those back in. But there are a couple places, like, I think the armpits, mostly I think just the armpits, that need to have some of the yarn reinforced, for lack of a better word, so that you don't end up seeing the stuffing come through. And in terms of mods, I ended up adding a tail. I figured that Doris needed something like that. So we'll see how it ends up stuffing out. It seems like it's in proportion, a decent sized tail. And then what I'm going to do is fill it with stuffing and then close up the bottom, and then the bottom will be whatever, and then it will be able to sit flat. So it's been a lot of fun working on the dragon. I think mostly just because I'm really excited about making something I'm not going to wear right now. It's not too bad today. It's pretty comfortable outside. It was a bit comfortable when I first woke up, but I was a little bit slow about recording, so So I don't have too much yarn left over. I was trying to maximize the tail, but I certainly have enough left over that I can go through and close up all the little gaps that I can find, and I think that'll be plenty. So adorable. I still need to get eyes. I went to the store to get the fiberfill and then totally forgot about that this silly little dragon was also going to need eyes as well. So, and I guess it'll be easier once he's all done to be able to put that on. But what is it? When I last talked to you guys, I think I had just had the head or the head spikes or something like that. So I would say that the fingers are probably the most fiddly of the parts, in the fingers and toes, but look at how adorable it all is. So I'll probably be showing this next week, all finished, because it has been good fun in order to make. So that was the story there. I think it ended up turning out really pretty with the yarn that I had. So, so another thing to note was that if I had not had a heavy skein, I wouldn't have been able to add a tail doing this with a single skein of sock yarn. So that would be something to keep in mind, was that because it was like 15 gram, like it was 150 gram skein instead of 100, like that was the difference maker there. I totally forgot to bring the leftovers, but like it's probably not much more than 4 yards at this point, just ballparking what was left. So this has been my primary knitting, which when you think about that, this isn't actually too big of a guide. It's been about 2 weeks for knitting. It's been really super duper busy the past few days. The other thing that's on my needles, which I haven't even checked up on in a while. Let me dig around in my bag until it comes out. Okay. Alright, so the other thing in my bag is the socks for my grandpa. I ended up talking quite a bit about this last time. So this is the cranberry biscotti pattern, and I'm doing it out of 3 colors of Woolmeister. And it looks like nothing ended up coming off my needles in the meantime. So I don't know if I'm actually much further than what I was before. This hasn't ended up getting a lot of love because my knitting time has been going to the dragon. So, what is it? I'll just measure and see how long it is. So, I have an 1.5 inch cuff, and then I have about 2.5 inches done on the leg. So I'm up to 5 now. I'll probably do 7 or 8 before I start to heal. Because these are, is whatever my grandpa has. Big legs. And yeah, so this will be my primary knitting project for a while. I don't know if tonight I'll end up casting anything on. Maybe not until I end up finishing all of the finishing on the dragon. So, but what is it? So the colors I'm using are Grafrots, Dora, and Wazarots. And I'm really enjoying how it's coming out. I think it's really pretty. It's just, I guess, in terms of knitting moves, this is like simple to nearly the point of brainless, and which, whatever. But the dragon was more complicated and interesting to do. So the dragon got most of my plain knitting when I ended up flying to Indiana last weekend. Coffee. So when I was, okay, I'll stay on the knitting topic. So I think what I've settled on is that I want to knit Frangipani, which is a Kitman Figueroa pattern. So it's really pretty. It sort of has, like, it's a shawl with like a cookie A design aesthetic where you have like lace and twisted stitches and like maybe like whatever those 1x1 ribs that have cable across it. Like, I don't even know. It's a bottom-up design, and her patterns tend to call basically for a full skein of Woolmeister and a fingering weight. So, so I think I'm going to break out my Stella Polaris for that. We'll see how it goes. Like, I've had this pattern for like 4 years now, and I was really excited about the idea of being able to move it up. So it should be a fun thing to do. And I'll probably end up using my my Stella in 100% or pure, whatever the name ends up being. When I bought it, it was 100%. Or wait, no, that's a lie. I've gotten I've never actually purchased Stella. I've swapped for it, and I've maybe got one indie stash, maybe not. It is probably my favorite Woolmeister blue, which is funny because I haven't knit with it yet. It's just so gorgeous. And really, being out here on the porch is going to be really hard to show how freaking pretty it is. So it might have to wait until I have a real camera again instead of an iPhone camera. So I suppose that the yak silk will end up waiting a bit longer, but that isn't a big deal in my book. So, So the other, when I was gathering everything for the podcast, I'm like, oh man, I didn't do any spinning this week. But because it's been 2 weeks and I end up really liking to spin at the airport, I did actually get some spinning done. So I managed to start the second half of my Redfish Dye Works superfine merino silk in some unknown colorway, and I just took that out. Oh well. So it is sky blues and blackish purples and all sorts of prettiness. And so now that I'm into whatever, I actually crammed all of the fiber into this bag because I wasn't sure how much spinning I was going to get to do. And well, obviously enough, not super duper a lot. So I managed to make maybe a little dent in this particular ball. And the hope would be to end up creating some sort of ridiculous, perfect lacy shawl with it. I'm spinning it thin, it takes time, and lately the only time that I've been finding to spin is while in airports, which, well, that gets expensive. So I think the short answer is that, when life starts to calm down a little bit more, then I'll be able to spin while watching podcasts, but I haven't watched very many podcasts recently, which means it's sort of hard to set aside the time for spinning. I do have stash positions. In one of the groups I hang out with, there was a woman who who was interested in spinning and bought some fiber and then decided she wasn't interested anymore. So she offered to send me the fiber, and all I had to do was pay for the shipping. And I'm like, sounds like a good thing. So we ended up negotiating over the course of a couple of days. Sorry about that. Because I only had, one time to check Ravelry per day, and that was probably after her bedtime, so. So she ended up sending me a pound of Shetland and 8 ounces of a different Shetland, I believe. And the envelope it came in was quite fantastic. Because I end up getting this package, and it's just like huge and amazing. Oh my gosh. So, okay, let me check this. All right. So, the 8 ounces is Potluck Roving in the color Black Crimson from the Fiber Garden. I haven't even opened this up yet. We'll just stand on the plastic bag. All right. So this is wool. Okay. So this is wool. This is produced by Ferndale Fiber in Ferndale, Washington. And it is shades of red and black. So really pretty gorgeous. Probably not merino soft, but definitely next to the skin soft. And I'm not sure at this point what it is that I want to make with it, but it is a pretty color, for sure. And it was the case where, what was it? Like, she had stopped spinning and I do spin, so it ended up making some sense. The other one is Shetland, and that's at a pound or above a pound. Based on the shipping rate, I think it was more than a pound. And honestly, I don't know if there's labels in here which say what, who produced it and stuff like that. There's definitely some veg matter in that. I haven't opened these up yet, so yeah, so there's some pain here. I'm not sure what that means, but Alright. Let's see what's going on. So, it's dyed, but I'm getting the impression it's in some sort of batch-like form. So it might not, what is it? It might be the case where I need to card this or comb this or something in order to get, in order to spin from it. I'm not sure. So some assembly is required for this stuff. But I figured that it was enough to make a sweater for myself. And I don't know, it might be cool to have an excuse to end up buying combs. I'm sort of curious about combs. So that is the story there. Like, am I usually a red person? No. But it was sort of hard to, or I was more than happy to take her up on the offer of whatever, using the fiber or finding someone who'd be happy to use the fiber as well. So I get the impression that this pound here would not be, this one, since it is probably going to require a bit more prep, will be something that I end up taking for myself, just because it is a bit more work. Sorry, I ended up getting some fiber in my coffee. So it's a case where, whatever, that was a tremendous amount of fiber, and I was really happy to get my hands on it. Give it a good home. And it's just lovely to go to the mailbox and have real mail. I really enjoy that. So in terms of big news, if you guys don't follow the Ravelry boards, my husband has managed to get a job in the area, and this has meant that life has exploded with crazy. So he will be moving down here likely at the end of September, which is really exciting. And that in the meantime, I have been looking at houses and trying to figure out if there is something that we would like to buy. And so that's the reason why I've been maybe not as productive from a knitting sense and not on Ravelry very much, is that I'm like on the phone with him, talking about the listings and figuring out whether or not they're worth seeing. And I think the last time that I ended up doing all of the house hunting craziness, I was all secret about what was going on. So, so I don't know if you guys even care about this sort of stuff, but so we are in the process of trying to find something. As engineers, both we're very analytical about things. So one of the important things is if it's far away, we have to like calculate the commutes and then estimate what it would be at rush hour. And then what was it? We're willing to pay extra if it has a free car garage, but not if it only has two. And well, if it's in a good location, maybe, I don't know. So the good news is that all the work that I put in order to get pre-approved has made it really easy to get pre-approved again. So that is perfectly fine in my book. And what is it? So it's been really exciting and thrilling and a bit stressful. Like I'm the sort of person where I can make big decisions quickly and then continue on with my life. But my husband likes to mull over things, and the housing market here is such where you don't end up getting a lot of time to mull. Which is fine. So it's just a case where, what is it? It's, whatever. Exciting to finally be figuring out where I'm living and get all that stuff taken care of, and then I won't be whatever in some janky apartment complex anymore, which I would appreciate. And especially, most especially, that my husband and I will be living in the same state together. So at least initially, we're just going to be living in an apartment, and that we end up having several months now in order to get everything settled down and find a house. But turns out it takes a while. But I hope it all ends quickly, because I don't want to be, whatever, constantly having this level of stress. If that makes any sense. I'd like to have some free time to knit and spin and watch podcasts and do yoga and climb at the gym and stuff like that. Like this week has been, like, I've been a total lump. So here's to quickly finding a habitat and a big celebration for him being able to come out with me too. So I should be able to record next week, but I will probably be recording on Sunday the 14th instead of Saturday the 13th, because, what is it? I'm doing, what is it? So at my company, we have this like big United Way fundraising campaign, and then it's the case where they're trying to get everyone to participate and to have, so then that first week in September, or sorry, the second week in September, it'd be the case, or whatever, the end of the second week of September, they have all these kickoff events. So I'm going to be volunteering on Friday with middle schoolers and doing an egg drop with a bunch of the other new employees. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be starting a starting a thing where I'm going to be mentoring high school juniors as they work on science and technology projects. It's pretty close to engineering. I feel bad calling it a science project, frankly. So we're going to be learning about programming and ending up integrating systems with sensors and actuators and stuff like that. So it should be really awesome. And so this thing, what is it? This is going to be like probably an ongoing Saturday thing. So I might end up moving my recording schedule to Sundays, but you probably aren't going to see this till Sunday anyways, because I'm not going to process it till later. But yeah, so I'm really excited about whatever these two events next week. So so it should be good fun. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and I hope you all, or wait, can't say goodbye yet. Happy birthday, Jordan. She mentioned that I was recording on her birthday, so congratulations. And, well, I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye-bye.